Sadie, your host of Love What Luck, and welcome to another week's episode. This week I'm back in Wales and it's my first time home in 4 months. Like, it's the longest I've ever been away from home. Like, I've lived in London about 6 years, and when I first moved I used to come home every weekend. Then it was every 2 weeks, then it was every month, then it was every 6 weeks, but it's been 4 months. So I'm super excited to be back, and I came home and I was like, I cannot come home without doing an episode of Love What Luck with my girls. So I'm super excited. I've got 2 of the girls on this week. The first is Lucy Mary, the baddest bitch. Lucy is like my day one. We're actually cousins. There's 5 weeks between us. So we've been through everything together, and we were like inseparable, ride or die. Yeah, like this whole time. And then I think when we were about 11, we started cheerleading for our local team. They're on the Rockets. Big up. And in came into our lives Sophie. So that's how I met Sophie, the second guest this week. And we've obviously been friends this whole time, but over lockdown I moved back to Wales, as you, like most of you know. And I feel like that's when we really like became Little Destiny. Like the 3 amigos, and we were tight, weren't we? And you honestly like got me through lockdown. So yeah, I'm super excited. Thank you so much for coming on.
I just want to say to you as well, thank you for having us first of all.
Of course.
But your podcast, the first episode I listened to, I didn't realise how much I was missing out until I listened to it. And I was like in the kitchen listening to it, and it was like when we'd meet up over lockdown, you'd come down for a cup of tea and we'd go for walks and stuff, and it was just like the conversation I would have with you then. And it was just like so you, and I think that's so good. Like you come across as yourself all the time. It's so good.
That's what we were just saying, like usually whenever we've met up over lockdown, we never like meet up to watch a film or anything, do we? We literally meet up and just talk for like the whole night. So
12 hours
like,
later.
we need to just record this shit to get it out. Yeah, like
pass
all
on our
night.
wisdom.
Yeah, literally.
It was lovely. It felt like Sadie was just back home with us there in the kitchen. Like we all got through lockdown. That's how we coped through lockdown, was just
chatting.
literally chatting it out.
Like multiple mental breakdowns and multiple
It's
like,
there was
are
a
we
lot.
ever going to get out of this?
Okay, so I've got a question to kick us off. I want to know, if you could go back to your younger self, what would you tell yourself?
Oh my god. I would say, don't waste your time in relationships you know are not good for you.
Yeah,
Because
that's
I feel
my
like,
as well.
oh, it is, isn't it? It's so
Especially, like when you're younger, I don't give value time as much.
no.
I wanted to finish my first boyfriend for a full year before I did.
Yeah.
A whole year.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
crazy.
That's a long time, yeah. To know
I'd
there's
never do
something
it now,
wrong.
but
Oh, I say I never do it now, but I feel like there was signs looking back that my last relationship was like ending before it ended, and I feel like I give that a lot of time and a lot of effort, and I feel like I exhausted myself trying to make it work.
And that's also on to like my point of, I would tell myself, do not give people so many goddamn chances.
Yeah,
Oh,
100%.
do not give
I
them
feel
so
like
many chances.
because of what you said, like then when you said like you don't value time as much because it feels like infinite, doesn't it? When you're young, it just feels like, oh, I've got so much time, and I feel like coming back, like you said on your podcast a couple of weeks ago about the 30 thing, like when you're at 30, like we've got so much pressure on ourselves to be a certain way and like to have it all. Do you know, now I look at my life, right, back when I was like 17, 18 say, I would never have pictured myself the way I am now. Never in a million years. If I had pictured myself then, it would have been like married to the love of my life, a big hunky rugby player probably who played number 8, who was like a little bit
very specific.
a little bit better.
Rugby people like, oh yeah. I was like,
That was my type. When I was 17, 18, that was my type. If it was a number 8 or below, I was ready for you. Someone who was big with a beard, that was what I was imagining. And then I'd have like 3 kids, be settled down, loving my life. But then I didn't actually picture what that life would be like. And I feel like now when I look at myself, I'm way cooler than whoever that person was. Like I love my life now, and I love how it is. Like, and I'm single, I've got 1 kid. I didn't ever think I'd have 1, but like that's the like hand I've been dealt, and I'm happy with it. Like I'm happy with the way my life is.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's not how I pictured it when I was 18.
Yeah, I don't know how I
I don't know.
pictured my life to be like, but I think I probably thought, I think you just everywhere, like, one has in there that they're going to be married by 30. I don't know who makes up that rule, but it's definitely there.
I literally thought I would, like, it was 5 years into the relationship, we decided to have Eva, and
Oh yeah, side note, didn't say this, that both Sophie and Lucy are mothers, MILFs, if you like.
Side note.
Side note. But neither of them are with the baby daddy.
no, so it was 5 years in, we decided to have Eva, thought it would take a long time, got pregnant within 2 to 3 months, had the baby, everything like fell apart. And I did think I was getting married there, that was like, that was going to be my life.
Yeah.
And obviously that, it just wasn't meant, Eva was meant to be here, but that just wasn't meant to be. And after that then, do you know what, after that ended, I think my type has been fuck boys. And that's not a good thing. I am collecting goddamn red flags.
Oh, you have had a long fuck
Oh
phase.
my god.
I feel like you said earlier, you need to tell your younger self, don't give so many chances, like that is still current.
Yeah, current advice.
Oh my god,
It's on board.
100%. And then my other thing that I would say, the most recent lesson that I've learned is do not empty your cup to fill up someone else's. Do not give everything you got
100%.
into someone else when you were left them with nothing.
I feel like you do that a lot as well. I feel like you just love so
Oh
much.
my god,
I do
you love
it.
love.
Like
But
absolutely love, and that you just give everything to the guy, and it's such a nice thing, and it's such a lovely
Yeah, it's a
quality to
stunning
have.
quality.
But unfortunately, if you give it somebody who doesn't appreciate it or doesn't give it the same back to you, then it makes it a bad
Excuse me,
thing.
I will say,
It's
I'm a
not fair.
beacon of goddamn light. I am a beacon of goddamn light.
I
And
love
even
it.
when my light is dim, I'm literally still, I'm still shining.
Yeah, but then you don't.
Oh,
This is
God.
where you go wrong still in life, because I feel like, we're giving advice to our younger selves, but we're also still learning.
It's not, yeah.
It's like still current. But I just think, like, when instead of, I feel like I've done this before, you morph yourself into the person you think they want. And ultimately, that's never going to make you happy, because you have to be, when you meet someone, be completely, wholly and utterly yourself. Because if they don't like that person, they're never going to like you, and they're never going to be the one. Because they are the person, they are falling in love with an altered version of you. And you are doing that with so many people, and that's where the mistakes are coming, because you're falling in love with not who they really are, who you picture them to be.
And that is my problem right there.
Yeah, it is. Because I've done it before. It's like, oh, well, I can imagine they'd be like that if they just made this little tweak. But the little tweak never comes. And I think you should, if you need to tweak someone, then they're not the one. So move on.
I feel like I've had that. I don't know if this is the same thing, but I feel like I've had that with like people I've been with, their interests. So even just like with going certain places and like not be my vibe, and I'm like, oh, but it's okay. And you think, and now like I can have a good time wherever I am. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I go along, and then ultimately, like, actually, this is not what I want to do forever. I don't want to be going out in these places all the time with these people, because it's just not my vibe. Do you know what I mean?
I have another point to add this. I got a lot to tell my younger self, like, stop people pleasing.
Oh yeah.
Stop people pleasing.
Yeah, it's so
Oh,
true. And I think, you know, all of the things we're saying all roll into one thing, doesn't it? It's like, don't change, be who you are, love yourself first, and then find someone who loves you.
Yeah.
Like, because until you do, I just don't think you'll ever meet the person.
Yeah.
And I think you have got to learn lessons,
And I have
but just
got
don't learn
another
them
little
twice.
side note as well. But just that you are literally enough as you are.
Yeah.
You are enough. If it's the wrong person, then they know.
It's just this, it's not even a thing against you or them. It's just like not a match, and that's like, well, like first you just.
So
go
that
through and
doesn't
meet
dim
people.
anything of you as, any
You know
shine
the
or
saying-
quality of you as, like you
The
are
saying
worth it
you
all
are
the
enough
time.
really annoys me, because it's like you've got to meet this line that's there that then you'll be enough. It's like we're constantly chasing being enough, but I think you should change it as like, this is the bar, like down lower, and sometimes you're too much of anything, of any one thing. Perhaps you love too good, perhaps you are too good to them, and they take it for granted. Like, perhaps sometimes you are more than enough. Do you know what I mean? In certain aspects of it, like. I'm more than enough. Like, just being enough, it seems like it's like you've got to reach being enough, but really, you should overflow the enough thing.
We are screaming enough. We
know
know
our
our
worth.
worth. We are screaming enough. We know our worth. Oh,
The
sorry.
dog barking is Lucy's Chihuahua, Don Vito.
Don't choose his violence every day.
Daily, absolutely, non-stop. He's a
He is
badass.
bad to the bone. I just want to another side note here. You say I'm like a single mother MILF, right? To Eva. I have 2 boys also. I've got Don Vito, who is 3 years old, and I also have Nut Brown the rabbit.
The rabbit is bigger than the dog.
Who is 5 years old. I am a family of 4.
So she's looking for offers, basically. She's like selling herself on Zoopla here. 4 bedrooms.
I'm looking for a second baby daddy. I need someone to look after my boys.
Put the bins out.
And put the bins out.
He's a freak.
I think one of my ones is to not ignore gut feelings. I feel like I've done that a lot, where I've like been in a situation or like even in relationships and I've had like a gut feeling that that person isn't right for me. I guess it's kind of like not wasting time, but sometimes I've like ignored the gut feeling, or I've convinced myself that that gut feeling doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like I've like be thinking it can be stupid stuff, right? Like I remember one of my exes spoke to my youngest nephew when he came home and he wasn't speaking to him like we speak to them. He was speaking to him like he would speak to, like, I don't know, somebody in the pub, like a proper adult. And I'm not like all for like baby talk, we're not like that, but he was like, and what's this? Like, it just wasn't like my vibe. And it sounds stupid, but that was like a gut feeling. I was thinking, I wouldn't want to have kids with you if you like, no, you just know. That's a gut feeling. Then I just ignore and think, oh yeah, but that doesn't matter. And alright, you're not going to meet somebody that's going to be the same as you with kids, and that doesn't matter. And then just convince yourself, but it obviously does matter to me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be there. Do you know what I mean?
Gut feeling.
And then you just convince yourself. And then I feel like whenever the relationship ends, you always look back at the same gut feeling and think, I knew then.
Yeah.
I knew then. So like little stuff happens, and like sometimes I'll talk myself out of it, but no more, obviously.
I feel like as well, people think that to make a relationship work, it's all about communication. You've got to communicate your feelings, you've got to communicate what's good for you, what you need, what you want. But it's not, it's comprehension, because the other person on the end of that communication has to be able to understand you, want to understand you, and want to put it right with you. Like, you can communicate all you want, but it can fall on deaf ears. And I think that's something I have definitely learned.
Silent chaos.
Yeah, it's silent chaos. Because if you were just shouting out your feelings and saying how you're feeling, why you're feeling, this is how you're feeling, this is how they can do better to stop you feeling like that if they care, but then they don't.
Also,
like that should be your first sign to go out.
I know, but this is the thing as well. Do you know, like the way people handle the situation?
Yeah,
as well.
Definitely. The way someone handles a volatile or uneasy or unpredictable situation says everything you will ever need to know about them.
I feel like it's just like quite a bad stigma and like quitting things sometimes. And I think like maybe even more towards women, we're kind of taught to like keep trying at things and pandering to other people, and like you say, oh, okay, if they haven't listened that way, how else can I show them?
Yeah.
And you're alright, did they like if they don't understand, or if they don't want to understand is the bigger thing really. And yeah, that tells you all.
That tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
And I think coming from like our mother's generation, they were still taught by the women who were like, no, if your husband says no, it's no. You know, like, so we were taught then by them to make things work and to make adaptations and to make changes to yourself. But now we live in a generation of like fierce feminists who are like, nah, you ain't good for me. Like, whereas we used to be like, are we good enough for them? Now it's like, no, are you good enough for me?
I went to watch this play thing once, right, really randomly in London, and this woman it was all like about feminism and that, and this woman read out a bit from a book. It wasn't even that long ago, I'm sure it was like the 50s or something, although I can't remember, but basically saying like about sex, you only have sex like to make the guy come. And it was literally in an actual sexual education book. Like, if your husband like doesn't orgasm, like you need to make him orgasm, and it's like all about him. And like obviously she was like, this is an actual thing in the book, like can you believe it? And obviously nobody could.
Do you know what we
But
say?
that is still it. It has been passed on low key.
Oh yeah. Do you know? I was just gonna say. Do you know when we say like boys read from a book? It's like a textbook. Like when they do things to you and it's not going their way and they become nasty. They all follow a pattern, don't they? But I feel like this must be written in that book because ours is so normal, right? To have sex with a boy and for you to not get anything out of it, and as long as he have, job done. Boys should feel shame about that because they best believe they would make girls feel shame for it.
I had this conversation with my boyfriend and his friend on holiday. I can't remember what they were saying, but they were on about something. And actually my boyfriend's friend said like girls should be more vocal about it. And I was like, yeah, we should, because it's so normal that a girl doesn't come. And I was like, out to it. We were in the pool. We can imagine drinks down in the pool park, and I was like, see it. Like, yeah, but it's disgusting. Like everybody should come. And he's like, if a guy doesn't make you come when you have sex, you think he's shit. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And I said, after girls have sex with somebody, the first question the friends will ask is, did he make you come? And did you have a big dick? Oh my god. But it's, like, why is that a question? No way is a guy saying to his friend, oh, did she make you come? No, it's like, did you have big tits? Or do you know what I mean? Whatever it
would
is.
be more like with a boy, how many times do you come?
Yeah, how many times did you do it?
Because, that has happened. It makes me sick. It is disgusting.
I have a really bad, like,
you were a
I'm too much of a people pleaser. I'm too much of a people pleaser because I will, to make them feel better, like I'll just go along with that I did every time.
So if somebody asks you, did you
it's been an awkward conversation really to have, and I'm just like...
It is not, you just say no. I have never ever in my life faked an orgasm. If I'm not coming, they will know that I'm not. You faked an orgasm.
100% I have.
I expected more from you.
Yeah, I know. I expect more from myself, but then there's been times I have thinking, is this ever going to end?
I've done a lot of faking in the last couple of months.
No, not that recently. Like when I was younger, like that would be a bit of advice. Don't fake an orgasm. But I have done it recently, and you have. Oh my god!
Like you're making problems because that guy now is going to. It's going to be. It's going to be like, okay, so whatever I did was fine then, and then the next person he goes with is.
You're letting the women's society down, girl.
I just won't, and I genuinely do not care.
Can we take this into 2022 now? All women, this is like a public service announcement.
That's my lesson learned for you. No, going forward.
This is an important public service announcement. I feel like Michelle Obama. Let's normalise in 2022 telling someone when they didn't make us come.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell this movement.
Right, I'm going to buy badges and flags. Let's tell people.
Yes, I've never, like obviously I'm saying I've never done that, but I've never also said, yeah, you did make me come. But I have with somebody that I've like been with like a regular, sometimes I'll just, this is super oversharing by the way, like, I feel like I'm in a safe space, and I'm forgetting this is actually
this is actually public, I'm forgetting that a little bit as well.
But I have like had situations before where I'm like, oh, I haven't come and I actually really need to, and then like we've just got it together because it's not fair. Why should a guy orgasm and not us?
I have had experiences recently where I haven't, and then it has really been discussed.
I do find it unusual, which I don't is like sick for you to come straight away with a guy. There's only like few people that's happened with.
That has happened.
But mine are not.
Yeah, it has happened. It
Mine
does
are
happen.
Well, no. There was a cup of tea.
When you went to someone's house.
I don't know if you remember. If anyone's like a regular listener on the pod, I said a story before. I've got a friend that will just go down the guy's house and have a cup of tea and then do the deed. That is
and she's just exposed herself.
You did all that by yourself.
Sorry.
We didn't even...
I like a cup of tea. What can I say?
The thing is with me, I feel like if I'm not that comfortable with a person, or if it's like quite new, then I have to have a few drinks, and the drunker I am, I can't come if I'm drunk.
That was the first time I met him.
If I'm steaming.
Oh, when you had a cup of tea?
And it was so comfortable. It was like the most comfortable I'd been in a very long time. And then, do you know what? No, we had a comfortable conversation the other day because it's gone on for a bit of a long time, like in and out each other's eyes. And he came
In this conversation now, you need to differentiate which one.
He came to the house and stayed, and like he's normally so busy with work and whatever, and he didn't have work, and he slept in till like 12:30 and said like they're normally out between 7 and 9 in the morning. Like
Walks at home with a chihuahua.
I run a tight ship, you know.
I know, I hate that as well.
Oh my god, she
I like
worries
to
me.
go to someone else's side and just leave.
Yeah, I
like-
never bring someone home.
So I was like, well, I'm gonna go and shower and things. He's like, give me 10 more minutes. I was like, well, I'm gonna go and shower and things now. So he's like, right, okay, I can have another 20 minutes. He's like, I'm so comfortable, I just don't want to move. And I was just like, I'm going for a shower. Like, oh my god, I want to make the bed and everything. Like, get out, it's 12:30.
Remember, this isn't like a sex story, but remember we had an house party before in like our friend's house, and I woke up on the settee of the friend who was like a guy, and nobody was there, and I was fast asleep, and it was 9:30, and I was mortified. I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I was so embarrassed. And the guy was like, yeah, you're alright. I was like,
Do you know
this
what?
is not okay.
After an house party, I feel like 8 a.m. is like the absolute limit
Yeah,
on time.
9:30, I swear you walked
That's
me
a
up, I was
lying
like,
on
really
a
nice
house party.
He was running
He
the bar.
was running a bar.
Oh my god, he was running the bar.
Okay, next question. What is your biggest regret? Sophie, go first.
I think my biggest regret is back to my like first point of don't waste your time in relationships, because I feel like in your 20s is the best time to be single. Like when you get a little bit older, more people have settled down, the market slims down a little bit. It's a bit more like, it can be a bit more sketchy, and you feel a bit like, oh my god, am I ever going to find anyone or whatever. And you should never feel like that like when you're younger, because the market is wide open, and people who are even in relationships, the relationships are going to end. And like, you know, not that I wish out on people, I'm not wishing bad, but you know, some people get together at 17 and skip off into the sunset. Sadly, that wasn't me, whatever. But
Not bitter.
not bitter. I know, because I love
No,
my
I
life.
know.
But I feel like wasting your time in relationships when you've seen the red flags, when you've had the gut feelings, you know it's not going well, you know you're making too many adaptations for the person, and you're making too many like changes to yourself. I feel like that should be, you were like, this is the time to leave. I've learned a lesson here. You've always learned a lesson from someone, even if it's just out to buy good wine. You've always learned a lesson off someone. Literally.
I feel like I've had that when I split up from one of my exes. It was the only one though. After I split up, I was like, I actually regret ever getting with him. So I just like viewed the whole thing like it was such a hard breakup. Even though I ended it, it was like such a hard breakup, and I just hated the whole thing. And I was like, I just regret ever getting with him, because we were friends before, and I was like, we should just never have done it.
Should have stayed
But then-
strangers.
Yeah, but then like a few weeks, I feel like that's like natural if you end something, and when you're in like all the like upset, or if you're angry, whatever, it's natural to think. I posted this on the Insta the other day, but it's like I just have to remind myself that like at the time it's what you wanted, and you were happy, and you did whatever you did. So I kind of talked myself out of that regret, definitely. And it's like hard, yeah, exactly. It's hard to like look now and think of your biggest regret, because your life has always worked out in a different way.
Yeah.
I
And
like
think-
regret not knowing what I know now. I regret not handling situations how they should have been handled. Like
Oh, yeah.
acting
that's a really good
accordingly,
one.
like literally.
Yeah, that is. How you
Oh.
have, it's like not so much you don't regret the situation as such, because you know things unfold, but it's like how you
You
react.
learn your lessons, but I wish
Yeah.
like
I even had that with friends.
Oh
like
my
how I
God.
I
react
do
to
this
certain
all the
stuff.
time. Like if I looked at myself, like project out, like when I was like younger to how I am now, it's not how I would have pictured myself. But I think, fuck, if I could have been this cool back then. Oh my god, I've handled
Excuse me.
everything so much better.
I think I voice it all the time. I've always been cool.
I've always been
I'm
cool, but I've taken some time for people to come around to understand.
No. I've been drilling this in since I don't know what year.
Yeah,
Like
you
I've
have
I've
always
always said I'm cool,
But-
and I know it.
But I
And
do
know
feel
it.
like
Anyone
as well,
disagrees is wrong.
now looking at like my sister now, my sister's like 7 years younger than me, so it's like quite a big like generation like
yeah,
gap. she has learned so many lessons through me. Because she is much more of a badass at 22 than I was at 22.
Can I just say, Cheap Thrills over here, she comes here and borrows outfits off me. I feel like I am in my goddamn prime. Like, I can come here anytime.
Oh, we love it. Like that's like seeing what the next generation's going to be like with a bit more of this kind of help and guidance.
Yeah.
Like, look, we've lived the lessons. So like, if you've got a big sister, listen to her because she knows. She knows.
Always been like very loyal, very loyal, and I learned recently, like, you know, if someone doesn't want like your loyalty and things, like I actually was not, like, I think for the first time in my life I was not loyal. I was not loyal at all.
Don't share.
Yeah, but you say that, but to me you were, because you weren't like boyfriend girlfriend or anything.
Yeah.
So but because you are usually so loyal, you felt guilty you were doing nothing wrong.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't doing anything wrong.
Just basically just by like
wrong.
dating. So I just obviously the
Multiple
pod
dating.
doesn't know. They're like, oh, just basically multi-dating. That's all you
Yeah.
were doing. It was multi-dating. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Do you
I
know
always
what?
preach to do it.
I feel like energized by multi-dating at the moment.
I
I feel
always
like,
multi-date.
oh my god, it's making
There's
me
nothing
not
wrong
put
with
my
it.
eggs in one basket, number one, which is I feel like I've
I'm a
fallen
head
into in the
first
past.
kind of girl, don't put my eggs in
Yeah,
all of them.
you do.
And
I feel
I
like
am very
that's-
loyal to
That's
one
what I've
person.
made mistakes in the past though, is putting all my eggs in one basket
You
too
know,
soon
that's something
and ending
I've
up in a relationship, not choosing to be in the relationship. So do you know what I mean? Like you start dating someone, you see them more and more, it gets to the point where you're seeing them all the time, and then you're like, oh well, we may as well be together
I'm not even
because we've
saying
spent this time.
relationship. I'm at situationships. I'm not even at
I know.
relationship. I'm
No,
at
and you're still
situationship.
giving the loyalty. No.
No,
I know.
until someone says to me, do you want to be my girlfriend?
Yeah.
That's a
no.
lesson I've learned
I always
recently.
say that,
Like,
and
I
then
am
until you have the
single until
exclusive
someone asks me to be
talk,
a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Then you should always multi-date, I personally, I think.
Mm.
You gotta see what else is out there. I always just have the assumption that they're doing the same, and you're just seeing like, but I don't know if it's different. I'm in London, I don't know if it's different here because maybe because everyone knows each other, maybe it's a
it
bit
is
different.
harder,
So
I think.
naturally you
It's-
have a bit
it's
more
harder
loyalty
than
towards
you.
someone. Whereas up there, like you meet somebody, they're complete strangers, and you meet somebody else. It's
That's
not the same, and it's very
Everyone
different.
knows
different
everyone down here.
Yeah.
It could be
Yeah.
like so and so's going out on a date with so and so. They tell someone and some else.
Yeah.
How many people have we matched with on Tinder that are the same person?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
we
sorry,
probably
yes,
share
you
them.
say this, but last night we're in the kitchen and they're on about some guy. Yeah, I think he's alright. I'm gonna add him now. And then the other one adds him. I'm like, you're literally giving yourself problems. Is it me? Am I the drama?
I feel like a follow back says, if someone following you doesn't mean anything if you're in a relationship, but if they then follow on back, I feel like it says, like, I'm interested.
The follow back is everything.
Yeah,
I
if
feel
I
like
don't
it
know
does.
one, then it's like, why else am I gonna follow this?
If I follow someone as a single person and they follow me back, that's like a sign for me.
That's-
Like, oh,
yeah.
I'm interested.
I tried to add an ex on
Yeah.
Snapchat. And he
How did that go for you,
haven't
Lucy?
he haven't accepted me, so I know it's like a.
Never be a mug, never be a mug.
No.
Never add people.
It's
I
not,
don't-
I just say, I think we're going to
Yeah.
listen back to this podcast, right? And I am going to, like, openly put my hands to the sky and say, I am the problem. That's what I'm going to take from this. This is another lesson under
we're
the belt.
living and learning. Like, there's a lesson. to
Oh, I'm
everything.
learning.
Oh,
I'm
there is.
learning.
There is a
And
lesson.
sometimes it does take a few lessons for you to learn it. It really
I
does.
haven't got no more
but
lessons
you will
left
always
to
learn
learn.
it.
Nicely,
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
think what I've noticed is a pattern in life is like once you've learned a lesson, like I feel like my first boyfriend ever, like first proper boyfriend, was like, we were living like 50-year-old people. We were like 15 and it was like too soon.
Yeah.
So then after that I felt like he was really boring and I went for someone flip reverse who was like wild, life and soul of the party. And I feel like you need those like lessons, but then don't learn the same lesson twice. Like if the universe is throwing out people who are the same as you've been with and it haven't worked with,
I'm
then you need to sack them off as soon as you see the red flag because you've
I
learned
also
that
feel
lesson
like
before.
that's another thing. When I finish with somebody, the next guy I get with will always be the complete opposite. Whether it's
Yeah.
not his personality.
I thought I was
always.
weird, But yeah,
that's always happened.
and I haven't got a type I've realised
Literally.
recently because it's eclectic.
The universe is literally throwing guys and it's like the same kind of guys.
Yes,
I'm still
you are
stupid
going
because
to say-
You are still stupid because you keep doing it.
No.
You
Also,
keep
in
throwing
terms of
hops.
going for opposites, your last relationship off was with a girl. And now you're, you know,
Yeah.
in Sausage Fest. So
Oh,
oh,
can we just say disclaimer that is not what I'm doing, but there has been a flip reverse because I have been exclusively with like girls for the last like maybe 5 years of my life.
But do you
And I
think you're
genuinely
now going
thought
with
I was a
guys?
lesbian, but
But do you think you're now going with guys because it's like the opposite of your last relationship and that you'll end up with a girl?
oh, I don't know.
Or do you
because
or do you just think the girl was more of like or the girls was more of a phase?
I don't think it's a phase because I think my sexuality is quite fluid. Like I am quite an anything goes kind of gal.
Yeah.
Like with anything in life really, I'm probably the least judgmental person, and I feel like when people come to me for advice, they come to me for no bullshit advice because I will tell the truth.
Oh, the last time, right? The last person that I was in my situationship with, I had to avoid her for a few days.
She doesn't
I
speak to
knew-
me. We
I
speak
knew-
every
I
day,
knew she
right?
hated him. I knew she hated him. I was not ready to burst my rainbows and stars and rose glasses bubble quite
This is
yet.
your
I knew
problem,
it was
though.
coming on. I couldn't have to avoid her for a few days.
She thought I didn't know, right? We speak every day. Through some form of communication, we speak every day. And I wouldn't hear off her for maybe 5 days, 6 days.
Because I knew she hated
And
him.
I was like,
knew
I
she
know why
hated
she's
him.
not speaking to me, 'cause she don't want to ask me about him. And then I thought, no, don't ask me, because I'm going to have to tell him that he's an absolute loser.
She
Who
said to
doesn't
me-
deserve your time and needs to work a lot on himself. But unfortunately, he slipped through the fucking net, didn't he? Because she didn't ask my opinion, so that's like a side note as well. If I don't like you, you've got no chance.
No, but I knew, and she was like, "You've been avoiding me." I was like, "I know."
She
She's
had
like,
though.
"You ready for the truth?" To you, I was like, "Give it
She had though.
Yeah,
She
and
had.
there's
Come
the
on,
thing with like
give it
tough
to me.
love, and I don't like it either.
No,
But sometimes you
oh,
need it.
don't.
Yeah.
I'm always the last person.
No,
come
you are.
last
You
to
are.
me.
The advice is amazing, right? The advice you've got me through the last year and a half, I would say.
Solidly.
Yeah, definitely. But you are a tough love kind of girl. And I have to say to this week, I was having a meltdown this week. I was like in my old crying, proper sad one night. And I had to say to her, so if I can't handle tough love right now, I need soft love. And she messaged back, shall I buy you a pizza? That was my soft love. And I was like, yeah, and I want
Yes, please.
yes, and I want a bottle of red wine. She's like, anything for you, it'll be fine.
I
like,
said
"That's
to her the
the
other day,
soft
right?
love."
I said, you've got to take this as a compliment, right? When you're in the pits now and you're feeling low, you're like, will I ever find the one? Things like that. You have to remember, I'm not willing to work on fuck all anymore. I've learned all my lessons. I'm not compromising for no one. You're the only relationship I'm working on at the moment. So
It
please hang on in there. I said to her the other day, right, my life would be so shit if it wasn't for her, because we literally live in each other's pockets, and I feel like that's something I tell to my younger self. Find your tribe.
Yeah.
Your girl tribe, your friends, not even girls, boys, girls, you were people, find your people and hold on tight to them, because they are the ones who are never going to let you down, they're never going to like see you unhappy, they're always going to want the best for you, they're always going to want to see the best in you, and they'll always support you for you. So find your tribe and roll with that.
I just want to give a disclaimer, you know. So I told Sophie she's got until 31 to find a partner, and if she hasn't found a partner by then me, her, Eva, and Reese, the two boys, we're moving. We're gonna do it. We're gonna be a family, babe.
No, I'm serious. Like, no, like a lot of our friends, we had babies like the same time, didn't we? And we became an ultimate force. Like, we needed no man. We
still don't need a man.
We still don't, but at that time we were a force to be reckoned with. We went to Bluestone, which is like a camping place, like what's it called, like Centre Parks kind of thing. This Christmas time, right? There was 5 single mothers, 6 kids. We are like the clamp bits turning up in the night. It was like such a girl power thing, and I like when I think how I pictured what family life was. That's not what I pictured, but they were the best times, like, when we were all just there for each other, supporting each other, loving each other, being the second parent when we needed it, like, don't be in a rush to have children because it's hard, but
that's so nice.
if you
My
do,
30th
find a mom club, because they are the
30th
best.
Recording, but I'm going to wrap it up, and I want to end the podcast linking to the first question. if your younger self could see you now, what would she think?
You go first.
Well, I feel like this is a year on, so I feel like I can probably talk about it now. So last year, I was suicidal and I was ready to end my life. I see no purpose in it whatsoever. I just lost sight of everything. But just before that, I was in a job that I had aspired to, like, best believe, girl tried hard. I went for 9 interviews for like the same kind of role. I was dedicated to it. It was my dream. That's all I wanted, and I achieved it. I would say maybe my 20-year-old self who was having it really hard. I just had a baby. I was in the middle of my degree. Like, I had no money coming in. What kept me going in those times was dreaming of the person I now was. And I had this moment where I was sat in my office in my uniform, and I looked down and I had like imposter syndrome. So I was like, oh my God, you've fulfilled your dream. You've done it. Off your own back. You've had no help, apart from family and friends, obviously.
Yeah.
But I've been let down by a lot of people. So I was like, oh my God, your dreams come true. Amazing. The next month, boom, I crashed. I was in the darkest place I've ever been in. Like, I had plans, like I'd written suicide letters.
Oh my God, really?
I was ready to end it. And I thought, right, I sat there this one night and I thought, right, I'm going to do everything everyone tells you to do. So I'm going to talk to my friends, I'm going to express my feelings, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to eat well, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to do everything that people give advice for when you're feeling low. And if I named it the 2nd of February, you don't feel better, it ends. Because no one's gonna care. Like, it's you on this planet, no one's gonna care. That's how low I was. And I look back now and I think, fucking hell, I love my friends love me. Like, that was not the case. But that's how I felt at the time. When you're in that state, that's it. Yeah. So I was like, right, do everything. Do absolutely everything you can to make yourself better. And by that point, I'd forgotten the date. And I was a better person. And I was on the road to the road where I am now, which is my complete and utter best self I've ever been. I'm the happiest I've ever been. I'm the most accepting I've ever been. I'm the most open I've ever been. Like, to anything that happens, like I say all the time, if I stay single for the rest of my life, I wouldn't see my life as a failure. And years ago I would have. And I think now I'll value happiness over everything. If it's not good for my mental health, my happiness and my well-being, it's going.
Oh, see,
I'm not wasting any more time on that
if
shit.
it literally, no, if I'm not having the same energy back as what I'm giving, then
off you sack.
Yeah. And a lot of my past things going on has been, can you hear the dog?
He's mucked it in.
What's he doing?
He's like, hell yes.
No, I'm the one that's given everything and made it so special. So then when I withdraw much energy, I'm like, it was me that was giving all.
You was the great thing.
I was the most amazing thing in the relationship.
But what would your younger self think now, if you could see yourself now?
I do think, like, you know, there's stuff that I've done that no one can ever take away from me.
Yeah.
And I've taken, do you know what? I've taken massive risks. I've taken massive risks. Some have paid off, some haven't, and some are just not meant to be right now. But that's like, obviously, it's exciting because what's to come.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But do you know what? Me and Eva got a lovely little relationship, and I got a really good co-parent relationship with Kia. Like, and I've always said I wouldn't have it any other way. Christmas concerts, birthday parties, we will be there doing it together. We co-parent, and you know we do, don't we? 50-50, we do it. So like, I'm happy with that. I knew Eva had to be. We were meant to be, but whatever.
I think it's good to just come to the place where, like, it's maybe not what you planned, but I would, like, it's still worked out so well. Just you realise now that it wasn't meant to be, and now it is now. It was actually really
and
really well.
Just like 2020, you know, like all this, like obviously everything that went on with Eva and her dad and things, and like not just the pandemic, a lot more happened in there. And I'm grateful to have overcome all that and be in a place where, you know, we have got a really good.
Do you know what I've realised
relationship.
recently is when I was younger, I pictured myself at 30. And like I said earlier, I was nothing like I am now at all. But I never pictured anything past that. Like, I never pictured what I'd be like when I'm 40, when I'm 50, when I'm 60.
Yeah, that is weird.
Innit?
Yeah.
So now I
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
like you're sort of, you are treading the unknown, and it's a bit like,
Yeah.
well, what do I want next? Like,
Yeah.
like the dream I had that I said about just now, I know is not for me anymore. So like, okay, if that's not for me, like the start of the year, I was going to do a complete career change and be a firefighter. Like I was ready to like jack my career in completely. It's like, right, do I have new dreams now? Am I like a teenager again, looking towards my 40s?
I think they do keep changing.
Yeah.
And plus as well, sometimes you achieve the dream and then you think, is this actually what I want to do?
Yeah.
Is
And
this
I've read
what
about that
I
before.
wanted?
It's not like when you achieve the dream, you realise that it's actually the process of achieving it is what you're after.
Yeah,
Like it's
no,
the feeling of doing
actual-
something.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
no one's ever fully content. You always got something that you want to grow to.
Yeah.
Like what you are comfortable with now might not be what you're comfortable with in 10 years, you know?
Yeah.
I do think one thing I am really proud of as well, like at the moment, is just like the last 6 years with Eva and what, like, don't get me wrong, she is a whirlwind and she's wild, but
It's so funny.
just the little savage that she is.
She's a
I
carbon
think-
copy of you, though.
I
She's
just
a-
think
it's just a
I
step
love
up.
every like hair on this child's head.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
even though we argue like sisters. But no, last night was the first night we got into bed. We had a little bit of a late night, and we got into bed. And she's like, "You're gonna listen to music now through your earphones on your phone?" And I said, "Oh, I am gonna listen to it. Do you want to listen to music with me as well?" And we did. We lay there in bed just in silence with the earphone listening to music, and she's just bopping. I was like, "Oh, this child is my soulmate."
Yeah.
Like, I think life is good right now. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm considering everything. I'm happy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I agree
What
with
is
that.
What's
meant
meant
to
for
be
you
will
won't
be
pass,
here.
so, and it's all a process, isn't it?
It is. Okay, that's a really high point. So I'm going to end it. Always finishing on the good vibes. We're happy. And yeah, I've loved that. Thank you so much for coming on.
I've loved
Thank you
it.
for having us. We've loved it.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank